What is up, RPG fans? In this video, I will be ranking every Final Fantasy game based on their every traditional Final Fantasy game, aka the ones with turn-based battle systems, based on how good their side quest lineup is. Again, I will do a big, huge Final Fantasy ranking once. One, I've played all the Final Fantasy games, and two, this video is specifically tailored towards the people who don't like the later Final Fantasy games. I know there's so many people who don't like them and just don't really want to hear about them, and I'm making those videos for you guys. So before we get into the video, though, I would like to have a little self-plug really quick, not to be annoying, but I'm currently developing a game called The World is My Playground, Realm of the Relinquished. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the title is WIMP, Realm of the Relinquished. So the idea being, when you're like, when you start out on RPG, I mean, you're kind of a wimp, level 1, whatnot. I mean, there's way more reasons for that. But anyway, don't want to spoil the plot. But anyway, I'm trying to develop. I know a lot of people are trying to do this these days, but I want to develop like the best traditional, classic, turn-based RPG. And that is kind of my goal. And I want to reach as many people as possible to help me. I want to hear from people. I want to have a community that helps me like figure out what really makes those classic RPGs special, and because I have different reasons than everyone else. So I want like a democratic, come over, tell me what you need to see in RPGs, and yeah, I want to have a community. But to do that, I need a lot more subscribers, and if you can just get some of your friends to come over, help me develop that game with their opinions and all that. I want to start a Discord server sometime. Anyway, I just want to be able to build a community about that, because I want to make a game that everyone will love, and I don't even care about the money or anything. I just don't care about that. I just want to make the best RPG, the best, 2D, whatever, classic RPG. And I've been a little disappointed by some of them, like Sea of Stars. I wasn't a big fan of that game. But I don't want to do it alone, because my opinions are not what matters. Because I can make my own game that I'll play, but does that mean that everyone else will play it? Not necessarily. So, self-plug, subscribe, get some other people to come over here and help me come up with ideas for that game. But anyway, that was probably too long of an intro, but, I want to give you guys that opportunity, because to me, I think that's a pretty cool thing to be able to be part of. If you don't want to make a game yourself, but you want to be part of the whole shindig. I mean, making the game is hard. I've spent so many hours just on the first couple areas, making them perfect down to the last detail with the right music and all that stuff. But anyway, I really want that to be good. So if you can get more people to come over to the channel, that would mean the world to me. But anyway, let's get into this. So I randomize the order as I usually do. I get bored of doing all the games in the same order in all these videos, and I'm sure most people would too, so I'm randomizing the order. So side quest wise, we're going to start with Final Fantasy Tactics, which is about the weirdest place I could have chose to start, because this game has a couple good side quests, but there's not that many. It's mostly about recruiting new characters, and it's that one place. It also, in the PSP version, there was some online thing you could do. I never got to do that because I was literally not. When did that come out? Anyway, in that version, I think by the time that isn't really a thing that you can do that much anymore. I was already I don't know. I was 6 when that was the thing. Anyway, basically, I didn't have a chance to do that, nor will I ever get the chance to do that online thing. So I don't know if that's good or not. But the side quests that I played in Final Fantasy Tactics weren't my favorite. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. I mean, they're fine. I think they weren't trash. I mean, I'm not mad at them, but D tier, E tier. I didn't really care. I mean, there were a couple, Recruiting Cloud was cool, but it's just too late, too late, I thought. Where you already have a whole team, and it's just, yes, things like that. A lot of it was there weren't that many side quests throughout the game either, so I don't know. if you have a different opinion, let me know down in the comments. But I didn't think FF Tactics had a very good side quest lineup. But that's just me. Final Fantasy for the After Years is a little different depending on the 3D or 2D versions. A little bit different. It's mostly just different bosses. If I remember correctly, in the 3D version, you fight lunar eidolons. In the 2D version, you fight some other things. I played the 2D version, not the 3D version. I don't know why I remember. Anyway, probably because I did research and I remember from the research. But anyway, I remember there was like a boss that you... Was it Protobabble? It wasn't Protobabble. It was something like that for the After Years. Super Boss... Sorry, I should have looked this up before. Super Boss FF4 the After Years. I thought I remembered the name. That's why I didn't look it up. Oh, Lost Babel. Okay, I was kind of right. So this is the 2D version. You have to pay $500,000. It's post-game. You form 3 parties. That part was cool. I will admit. That boss fight was cool. But that's pretty much all you got for the After Years. And the 3D version, it's pretty similar. There's not too much in terms of side content. So we'll put it in the D tier. The D tier. Well, since like the only thing, I'm going to move this up to the D tier. Because getting Cloud in your party is cooler than 1 boss fight. Or 2 boss fights or whatever. So, yeah. And I don't think For the After Years is quite... it's not even close to my least favorite on this list. The one that's an F tier is like 400,000 times worse than For the After Years. And that's not exaggerating. It's probably my least favorite thing about any video game ever. Except for maybe Tales of Symphonia side quests. But that's even debatable. Anyway, let's move on to Final Fantasy 1. Okay. OG version, there's like nothing here. Upgrading your people is technically a side quest. So, that's kind of cool. However, if you're playing the good version, aka the PSP version, not that pixel remastered junk with the good music but nothing else good, and the mini maps are good too. If you're playing the good, best version of Final Fantasy 1, the PSP version, there's some ballin' good side content in this game. So, I'm going to throw it up in B tier. I think that sounds about right. B tier. Yes. B tier. Yeah, that sounds right. Maybe A. Probably just going to stay in B. But there's 5 bonus dungeons that I really enjoy in this game, where you fight the bosses of FF3, 4, 5, and 6, but they're cool. I honestly prefer the Omega and Shinryu in this game over the one in 5 because it's too easy in 5. It's not that hard in 1, but at least those bosses aren't just rapid fireable with Thundaga Spellblade, but or you can use Romeo's Ballad or whatever. You can cheese those bosses so unbelievably easy. Like beating them in auto battle is easy enough. My dad did it like 2 days ago. Anyway. Besides the point. And the Labyrinth of Time is just a really unique, cool place. It's not my favorite. I didn't like it enough to play it through, to fight every form of Chronodia and get all the items and all that stuff, which my brother did. It's fine. It's really cool, actually. But, for this list, since the ranking I have that I'm looking at in front of me for the script or whatever is of all the Final Fantasy games I've played so far, actually, I think in the perspective of everything, I'm going to put Final Fantasy 1 in the A tier. I think that, the upgrading the jobs, the fact that the game's a little non-linear in the order you can do things. You can upgrade your jobs pretty early. If you just know what you're doing. I don't know. And those bonus dungeons, actually, I really enjoy. And every time I play FF1, I replay those bonus dungeons. I don't know. I really like them. There's some really unique floors. I just really liked them. And they add a lot more weapon variety and everything to FF1. And to me, Final Fantasy 1 has always been Final Fantasy 1 with the bonus dungeons. And I've always really enjoyed the bonus dungeons. Because, I was -20 when This game came out, I don't know. I was born in 2007, so the PSP versions and stuff were already out, I think, right? PSP FF1 release date. I don't know when. I know the original release dates for things. Oh, I know when this came out. Oh, 2007. Okay, so this game came out like 4 months after I was born. So, nice. It's younger than me, but still pretty. Anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say here is that Final Fantasy 1, to me, has always been Final Fantasy 1, the bonus dungeons, and I've always enjoyed the bonus dungeons. I know a lot of people think they're dumb. I think they're awesome. So, A tier. All right, Final Fantasy 10. Oh, boy. This game simultaneously has awesome side content and literally the worst side content ever. So, I'm going to throw it in C tier. Monster Arena and all the super bosses, Dark Aeons, super bosses, all the super bosses, all that junk. Awesome. Super fun. Monster Arena, I love that place. Everything else, pretty much, garbage. So bad. Okay, actually the lightning bolts is not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it took me like, what? Maybe 90 minutes. It was still stupid, but it was fine. Chocobo racing is sorry, I shouldn't say that word. Is stupid as heck. Who designed the controls for that garbage? Couldn't you have done a little bit more playtesting to make it not so boring and so idiotically horrible? Same with butterfly catching. That one was trash too. Those two things are two of the worst things ever put in an RPG, in my opinion. So bad. Also, having to capture, 10 of every monster was so dumb. Like, for the Monster Arena, just there's no reason. It was just a gimmick. I mean, maybe one of each, but that's still pushing it. Just open the Monster Arena, dude. That was dumb. But the Dark Aeons, Penance, and Nemesis, and a couple of other high-tier Monster Arena bosses, some of my favorite RPG bosses. And then also getting the different summons, getting Yojimbo, going through the ruins, and getting the Magus Sisters and Anima and all that. That was really fun. So this game has some awesome side content. It also has some trash side content. However, I think C is a little too messed up for this, because I really like the side content. And I put it in C, but that was more for dramatic effect. That's not actually where I'm going to put it. I think that there's so many bad things, but in retrospect, the memories of Chocobo racing are so funny. And me and my brother were like yelling at the top of our lungs. The game sucked, but the memories don't suck. So for that, I'm going to put it in A. I think the good outweighs the bad here, but not to the degree that it can go in S or S+. Like, the pain, the wounds, there's still salt in those wounds. So, yeah. Alright, World of Final Fantasy. It had some pretty cool side quests. I think I liked them way better playing the game. Looking back, kind of annoying in a sense. The quote-unquote side quests, there's 10 of them in the game? There's none. But the quests that you have to go in the Mirror Realm or whatever and get the Grimoire shards or whatever for, there's quite a few of those. And they're boring gameplay-wise, to be honest, but they add a lot to the story and the world building and the humor of the game. And basically the point is that you are, if you don't remember, or if you haven't played Final Fantasy, a World of Final Fantasy, you basically infuse yourself from a distance into different warriors, like your friends or whatever, and help them beat quote-unquote unwinnable fights or whatever. So you're kind of interfering through time, and it's just a really cool concept. that adds a lot of development to the characters, the world, the story, and to be fair, that's kind of what the best side quests do. Gameplay wise, not great. However, in terms of the extra world building that these side quests provided, to be fair, a lot of them didn't actually. I think if you wanted the true ending, most of them ended up becoming required anyway. So it's hard to really call them side quests, but they are technically called side quests in the game. So I mean, je ne sais pas. But World of Final Fantasy. You know what? I think I'm going to move both these down to B. No, that doesn't make any sense. Does that make any sense? Yeah, that makes sense. I think. For now, I don't know. World of Final Fantasy, I mean, I know where I'm ranking them, but I don't know what tier. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? Not the viewing source. I think I'm going to put it right above 10. Just because how much it adds to the world and how cool it is to, like... Yeah, it's just really cool. You know, I think I'm going to move these down to B. I might move them back up later, but World of Final Fantasy just has a really intriguing way it presents its side quests. And are they always fun? Not necessarily, but they're always intriguing, they just add so much to the game. Like, to me, these side quests are a huge part of why this game is so charming. The humor's there, the story's cool, the nostalgia. I mean, it just, like, well, not as much nostalgia as just the way World of Final Fantasy is a great homage to the series that came before it. I think it's really cool. I think overall it's got a great lineup of side quests that really, a lot of side quests don't add anything to the plot. World of Final Fantasy, that's what they do best, and that's impressive. Now, should they have been more fun to actually play? Probably, but yeah. All right, Final Fantasy Tactics A2 Grimoire of the Rift. This game ranks really low on some of my tier lists and really high on some of them, and this is absolutely one it will be ranking very high on. It might move up to S+, but I'm going to throw it up in S for now. There's just so many, there's so many missions, so many cool missions that you don't have to technically do to beat the game. So, there's just a bunch of side missions. And most of those missions are the best ones. Like, so many cool side missions. I mean, like, this is why I love Tactics. Going around fighting things. Tactics A2, at least. And, I mean, the story's garbage, but the gameplay is really fun. And this is why. Because there's so many fun side battles. You can go around a fight and do all that garbage. So, I mean, yeah. Now, I'm also going to throw in Tactics Advance here as well. I'm going to throw it in C. As I say for pretty much every other list, I think Tactics A2 is just a better version of Tactics Advance. Hot take or not, I think that's just always been my opinion for everything. So, I just don't have a reason to go do anything. Like, no part of me has any reason to play Advance when Tactics A2 is out there. And by default, it's always lower on the list for me. It feels like a game I just don't really care about. Like, Tactics Advance is easily the game I care about. I have the least stuff to say about on this list. It's not my least favorite game on this list, but it's probably my second least favorite game on this list, so I don't really care about it. But the fact that there is stuff to do, it's better than I can say about some games, so yeah. Alright, Final Fantasy Dimensions 2. So, this game basically has one side quest. Like, one actually good side quest. Well, two, but it's hard to say that a whole bonus story, quote-unquote DLC, is not part of the story. I mean, it really is actually the ending of the game. So I don't count that as side content. It's good, but I don't count it as side content. The Tower of Babel, which is hundreds of floors of fighting and looting and all this stuff, that is side content. And it's like a cool dungeon crawler, like gimmick bonus thingy. And I think it's pretty cool. And then you get to fight Proto Babel on the top, and he's way too easy, but besides the point, still fun. Okay, Final Fantasy X not being in the A tier is bothering me. That's going to go in the A tier. And then Final Fantasy Dimensions 2 is going to go in the B tier with FF1. I think the Tower of Babel is really fun. Now, the other side quests that are in the game are pretty much super forgettable. Oh, other than the one where you get Alba from FF Dimensions 1, and you get a fighter and stuff. That's funny. It's fun. And there's a couple other ones. There's a couple bosses that were kind of fun, that were side content. And the best part about the side content is you usually got really cool signets from it. But yeah, I think that's about right. I think the Tower of Babel's cool. It's its own. It's like its own little mini game. It's like not really completely a different game, but it's pretty different from the main game in a lot of ways. It's like its own shop and all this stuff. Okay, it's not really anything like a different game, but the point is, it's really cool, and I like FF Dimensions 2 a lot as a game to play. I think it's a really fun turn-based RPG. Is it perfect? No, but it's a good game. I mean, play it if you haven't. You should definitely try it. We're gonna move Final Fantasy X too. I have a lot to say about that one. Yeah, I want to talk about that last because that'll be funny. All right. No, I want to talk about FF2 last. Actually, we'll talk about. Okay. FF Dimensions is pretty much the definition of. There's some cool side quests at the very end of the game. That's like, I don't know, like even later into the game than FF10, to be honest. Okay, maybe not that late, but like pretty much equally as late as FF10 if you haven't played this game. There's some really cool bosses that you can fight over and over again, and they just keep getting harder. So it's cool. I really like the fact that there's a super boss that you grind, so you can keep grinding the super boss until it gets to its final form. I thought that was cool. So that was fun. There's a couple different like bard songs you can go and collect. And technically getting all the summons is completely optional, but like, I mean, they're pretty much so obviously on the map and like, I don't know. So side content is not bad at all. It's not bad. It's just they're not the greatest. So C tier, definitely. C tier. I think that's fair. Maybe B tier. B tier. Right by its, honestly, in my opinion, better follow-up. I think that, yeah, because you've got, it's really backloaded, but that makes sense for a game like this, like a more episodic game like this. It's really backloaded, but you know, I like it. It's fine. It's above average. That cannot be said about Final Fantasy III. The 2D versions are so mid. 2D, right here. There's nothing. Jack diddly squat. I mean, if you count, again, some things that are technically side quests, I can't really count as side quests. Like the Forbidden Land of Eureka is not a side quest. I mean, if you don't do that, you're goofy. So I'm not counting that as a side quest. That's literally like pretty. It's so goofy to skip it. So we've got the Sunken Cave and the summons are pretty much, which isn't that bad. Actually, no, you know what? It'd still be like right here. Probably, honestly. No, getting Cloud is cool. It'd be right there. However, in the 3D version, you've got the summons and technically the Forbidden Land of Eureka, and you've got a couple other things. Not much, but a couple other things. Like a couple of hidden towns or whatever. But in the 3D version, the Iron Giant was added, and that is one of my favorite super bosses in the Final Fantasy series. And also, you get rewards for getting level 99 on your jobs, and that means a lot to me. I like the legendary blacksmith. So, there's not that much, but what there is, I kind of like. Oh, also the Onion Knight quest is kind of fun. So I'm going to put it in C. It's not great. It could be a lot better, but it's good. So, yeah. All right. Final Fantasy 3 in the C tier. I was originally going to put it lower, and then I kind of forgot about a couple things, so that's nice. All right, Final Fantasy 4. The original version would probably go. The original version's fine. Again, it's kind of like 3, where a lot of the content is just gathering the different summons. And to be fair, the Sylph Cave is garbage, and the Land of Eidolons is boring, except for actually fighting the bosses. And Bahamut's Cave is kind of eh. But you know what? I mean, that's all fine. That's all good and fine. Again, you know what? I'm gonna add a couple. I did this for. No, where is the? I didn't think I would need to add these until I decided I need to add them. So we've got, because a lot of the recent tier lists I were doing did not need multiple FF4s or FF. Oh my gosh, they're way. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, so FF3 without the Iron Giant and without the what's it called will go right here. Summons, no Iron Giant, just a sunken cave. So this is 2D. This is 3D. So yeah. Final Fantasy 4 for OG Final Fantasy 4 will go right here. Yeah, it's a little better than FF3. The summons are more interesting where you have to go to get them. It's more interesting than the after years. There's a sword, you get a forge. I think it's Excalibur. Yeah, the Excalibur. Like, there's a couple things, a couple optional dungeons, which is cool. Odin. So that's cool. A couple optional summons, whatnot. So it's fine. Some good stuff in Final Fantasy IV for the original, but still D tier. I mean, yeah. Final Fantasy IV, GBA and DS, well, GBA / PSP and DS, are a little bit of a different story. I don't usually... The reason I'm doing different versions for 3 and 4, not for like 1, is because to me there's a very definitive... That's the best version for 1, aka the PSP. Same with 2. That's the best version. But I think there's more of an argument towards Pixel Remaster or PSP for FF3, or PSP / 2D or 3D, basically. In a lot of different categories, I say there's an argument for that. Like, personally, I like the battles a lot better in 2D because the 3D version is slow. And there's more enemies in the 2D version, whereas the 3D version has like 3 enemies in battle, but they have upgraded stats. So like, there's some little differences. In this, the 3D version has better side quests. And there's not, I wouldn't say Pixel Remaster or the 3D versions are the definitive version. Because there's 2 definitive versions. For FF4, there's technically 3 definitive versions now. The Pixel Remaster, which is in D tier for this list, because it has the best music, has a bunch of quality of life things. PSP / GBA is its own whole thing. I mean, you are able to switch out your characters. There's a bunch of 2 bonus dungeons that are pretty significant. And yeah, so that's a whole different thing. And then the 3D version is its own ball game. So, whereas different, again, so FF3 and 4 are the only ones where I'm actually like debating what the definitive version of the game is. Now, for me, the Pixel Remaster is out of the question in Final Fantasy IV, but for a lot of people it isn't. And since I'm talking about splitting it up anyway, I might as well split it up into 3 instead of 2 because it doesn't change that much for the ranking. Anyway, so Final Fantasy IV for the DS will go right here. And the only reason I put it right there is because it really bothers me that you are forced to play multiple playthroughs. Now, this game isn't that long, and especially if you've played it before, it's pretty easy to speed run through, especially if you're playing on an emulator. But you shouldn't ever, any game that forces you to play multiple times for things. Now, I like that you carry over your augments, so if they're hard bosses, so if you want to, the game can suggest that you need to play on a second or third playthrough so you can have more augments. That's fine. I think that's more than okay. It's a good game, so I'm not that mad about playing it again. But this bothers me. Any game that makes you play multiple times just for side content drives me crazy. So I would never, ever do that making a game. I think that's really bizarre and kind of stupid. Because, you already paid for the game. They already got your money. So why make you play it multiple times? I just don't know. I just don't really get it. I don't know. So, I think that's goofy. Now, there are a couple games that I can be convinced to play multiple times. Like, if there's 2 routes, like Tales of Xillia or like Star Ocean 2. If there's enough different content, sure. Or like Chrono Trigger, where like you can beat the game by playing like 10 minutes of it. Like, that's fine. That's kind of cool. The different endings. Yeah, if you have like different endings. But just locking bosses behind multiple playthroughs is goofy. So I'm going to put that right here. The bosses are awesome, but are they worth replaying the game 2 extra times and wasting that many hours? Not really. So I'm going to put it in C tier. Now, FF4 for the PSP/GBA. I do think this version is quite a bit worse than the DS version, but the side content is not. I want to put that right here. No. I want to put it right here. You get all the different characters so that you can swap out your parties. You get the Cave of Trials, which gives you their ultimate weapons. So then you're pretty much set for the final boss. And after you beat the final boss, you open up the Lunar Ruins, which is one of the coolest final dungeons because everyone gets there's a bit more like bonus story content. Everybody gets their own ultimate abilities, so everyone like gets an upgrade for their abilities, which is really cool, or an ultimate weapon, like ultimate weapon that's even better. And it's just a really cool dungeon. And Zero Miss EG is a little bit too easy, I will admit, but there's some cool bosses in here. The Lunar Eidolons, like all this stuff is awesome. It's just a really cool selection of dungeons. Selection of dungeons. What the heck? Selection of things that you can do for Final Fantasy IV, and it's awesome. It is pretty lit. I don't know what I'm saying. I think that's enough to be said about that. But the Lunar Ruins is pretty awesome, and it's a bonus dungeon, but it is huge. It's not just any dungeon. It's like 8 hours of bonus. Okay, maybe not 8 hours, but at least like 4 hours of bonus content. That is fun. That is the big part. It's fun. It's fun bonus content. It's up there. So, yeah. All right. Final Fantasy V? The Sealed Temple's awesome. You know what? So I'm going to move this. No. We're going to put this up in the S tier. There's a bunch of different cool content, like the Secret Village, like the Phantom Village, the different summons. The whole unlocking legendary weapons is technically side content, but again, like the Forbidden Land of Eureka, that's a little goofy if you don't do that. It just seems wrong. Like, it seems like part of the main story. It's like if, yeah, sure, you can play Legend of Zelda 1 without ever upgrading your sword, but like how dumb is that? Like it just doesn't seem right, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, Final Fantasy V has some cool side content though. The different summons you have to collect, and like these summons are more fun to collect. Like big significant upgrade on how you get summons over 3 and 4. Each summon is like gotten in like a completely different way. But in the definitive version of Final Fantasy V, aka GBA or the Defunct Mobile Edition, there's the Sealed Temple, which is just an awesome bonus dungeon. It's gargantuan. You get 4 bonus jobs from it, and they're all fun to use. Even though one of them is pretty pointless because you get it so late in the game and the Oracle's kind of bad, except for boosting your magic stat. But the Gladiator and Cannoneer are really fun and pretty viable jobs that are really cool to use. And you even get some bonus story content with a bonus boss, a Nuo, that actually adds a decent amount to the story. If you really dig into the game's lore, it actually is cool. I mean, Final Fantasy V really excels at that. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's pretty cool. Phantom Village, oh yeah, getting the mime and being able to fight the famed Mimic Go-Go, like actually fighting him, like attacking him, fighting him, is super fun. That's a really cool boss. Although the only problem is if you want to beat him, you actually have to be good, which means you don't get the mime for a lot of the game, which is sad. So, like, I don't know, if you want to come back after the Sealed Temple and after you're powerful to come get the famed Mimic Go-Go, but then at that point you don't have mime, so that's sad. But it's a viable option. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of cool side content. Let's see what else is there. There's not as much as a lot of games. But again, the way you get summons, the way you do, like, it's not as much side content as a lot of the other games, but yeah, I think I'd put it there. There's nothing annoying. Like, everything is good. Whereas, I mean, FF10 has higher highs, but has far lower lows. World of Final Fantasy has really high highs, but it's not really fun. It's just interesting and cool to read, and it's funny, but it's not like good gameplay. And then Final Fantasy IV, the Sealed Temple is better than Lunar Ruins, in my opinion. I just like it better. And I'm debating. You know what? I'm actually going to move one up. Yeah, I'm going to move 4 down, actually. I think I like 1's bonus dungeons better than the Lunar Ruins, because there's 5 of them. They're all fun. Yeah, I think that looks right. I don't know. To me, the Sealed Temple, just the fact there's 4 extra jobs that you can go get and a bunch of different stuff. I mean, and I think this is easily the definitive version of the game, way better than the Pixel Remaster for me personally, outside of the music, of course. Yeah, I think FF5 goes up there, although I don't think it's a tier above these, though. I think it would be on the same tier. This tier's getting a little crowded, though. I so want to put FF10 higher, but there's also so much crap in that game, so... You know, I still feel like these are on the same tier. No, I like FF1's bonus content a lot, actually. Okay, we'll keep it like that. Something will end up moving down. Probably FF1, which is unfortunate, but... Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these. Yeah, FF1's going to have to go down, unfortunately. But, I mean, c'est la vie. So, yeah. Anyway. All right. Final Fantasy VI. This is pretty much the best. No question. I mean, I'm going to add a row below, like, my infamous huge gap that I make in some videos, because it's It's so crazy how much side content is in 6. And that's in the original, like SNES even. You get the GBA or defunct mobile version / Steam version, and you just have opened a whole nother can of worms. Like the Dragon's Den is super fun. I mean, the Soul Shrine is awesome. The different, like, I have 4 bonus espers. But even without that, I mean, the World of Ruin is basically a side quest. Like, half the game is side quests. And you're probably like, well, Brighton, you were saying that the legendary weapons in the Forbidden Land of Eureka don't really count as side quests. Yeah, but those are one individual thing. When the whole game lets you beat it immediately, you don't need to do a single thing. And it pretty much is one of the best things ever put in gaming, the World of Ruin. I adore the World of Ruin so much. Like, even without the World of Ruin being so good, to me, Final Fantasy VI would be a pretty mediocre Final Fantasy game without the World of Ruin. I mean, that's just factual, in my opinion. But, factual for myself. You can't say factual, in my opinion. What I'm trying to say is that is definitely my opinion. But the World of Ruin is just so fun. All the side quests are so cool. Whether they're story side quests, whether they're just goofy side quests, and it's so inventive. Final Fantasy VI is just unbelievably inventive with its side quests. It's insane how so good they are. Every single side quest. I mean, there are a couple misses here and there, but even then, they were still great on paper. It's just like all these people came together with genius brains and just threw all these amazing things into a game, and it's incredible. That's why FF6 is one of my favorite games. I mean, I still do have some problems with FF6. I mean, the story does take a kind of a hit because the World of Ruin exists, and the music isn't my favorite soundtrack. I mean, I have some issues with FF6, but this category, side quests, is probably my favorite part about FF6. Just because there's so much to do in the World of Ruin. It's crazy. They just jam-packed it full of awesome ideas. And I wish I could play FF6 again as a older person, because I played it when I was like 11 and I kind of took it for granted. But I'm about to be an adult, and in like 14 days or whatever, 8 days, about to be 18, and now, like, if I played this now, I would be blown away. I mean, it's like Breath of the Wild, but there's actually stuff. I mean, like, Breath of the Wild, I mean, sure, there's a lot of stuff to do, but everything is pretty similar. I mean, it's another shrine, it's another Korok seed, but you explore the world of FF6, and this is the definitive open world, in my opinion. I've never played an open world that's more interesting than FF6 is in the World of Ruin. I mean, I'm sure I will maybe one day, but it's probably going to be far away. Unless someone can tell me some amazing game I've never heard about down below. I mean, I'm sure it does exist, but it's amazing. FF6, so epic. Alright, Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it's alright. Let's see. Let me think about it first. The weapons, pretty cool. Vincent and Yuffie, pretty cool, but that's cool. Let's see. Chocobo stuff, the Forbidden Forest, Sunken Galnica, Wutai. Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff. But none of it really, I mean, it's all good. I think I'm putting it here. I'm moving FF1 back up. Thank heavens, I want FF1 to be on that tier. I think it's good. I really like the weapon fights. I think a lot of the other stuff to me is just take it or leave it. Oh, the weapon fights, Yuffie and Vincent. Pretty much everything else I'm just like, about. The whole Chocobo thing felt like a waste of time for me, just because I don't care. I mean, it's not a waste of time for other people. I mean, it's cool addition. The Sunken Submarine was a cool idea, but it wasn't that cool of a dungeon, honestly. The Forbidden Forest, that was called something like that. I mean, it's all right. Fort Condor's trash. I'm sorry, I can't get into that. Oh frick! I forgot about Blitzball for FF10. Oh frick! Dude, I forgot about Blitzball. Oh my gosh. Dude, I love Blitzball, y'all. I love Blitzball. Okay, that's going up in S. I know there's so much crap in FF10, but Blitzball, dude, it's so good. Oh my gosh, I gotta move it even higher. Blitzball is so fun. I hate sports games, and I love Blitzball. Like, I couldn't care less about any sports games other than World Cup, the Champions, a Flash game, and Blitzball. And Blitzball's so fun. Oh my gosh. I mean, to be fair, Chocobo Racing sucks, but I mean, when you've got Blitzball. Okay, sorry. I forgot Blitzball exists. That's so funny. Okay, anyway, FF7. I don't know how that's FF7 is what reminded me of Blitzball, but let's see. What do we got for FF7? Those bonus dungeons. I mean, it's fine. I think that's where I would put it, though. I think its entirety of all its stuff would put it above FF4. One thing that is sad, though, I mean, FF10's way of getting ultimate weapons and abilities is so unbelievably annoying, but FF7's is too simple for me. I'm going to be honest. Like, you just kind of like go get the weapons, and it was kind of boring. I mean, the weapons were cool that you got. And the limit breaks. I mean, finding the different limit breaks and stuff was cool. But, I mean, I don't know. I prefer the way that most other FF games. I like it when either you have to go do some weird thing to get them. Sorry, not weird thing, like just a thing that's unique, not necessarily like awful like FF10, but something unique, or just in the final dungeon after you fight a boss. I mean, I like it that way too. I mean, I don't know. I think B's pretty much exactly where, I think that's a perfect place for it. Top B tier. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff. It's just all... And the weapons are really good. Do I have Final Fantasy V too high? I feel like I have Final Fantasy V way too high. What, the Sealed Temple's fun, but... Yeah, y'all, I have Final Fantasy V too high. I don't think it's that fun. I'm just looking at it, and 7 does have... I think 7 does have better stuff than 5. I don't know what the crack I'm smoking, but... That was weird. Why did I rank 5 so high? Let me think about it. Let me make sure I'm not going crazy. Sealed Temple. Oh, but I really do like the Sealed Temple. Bonus jobs. Summons. I don't think I like it better than FF7, though. So, I think I was tripping. I don't know, y'all. It's 3:39 a.m. I've been awake for a while, so that's interesting. I think I was just overrating the Sealed Temple, I guess. I mean, I like it a little bit better than the Lunar Ruins, but I don't like it way better. I mean, that's the fun of tier lists. You realize that you're dumb, and that's kind of the point, you know? Testing your own opinion, I guess. Final Fantasy VIII, just like Blitzball carried and totally changed my opinion as soon as I remembered about it for Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy VIII is like pretty mid, but Triple Triad. I mean, it's Triple Triad. I mean, and Triple Triad is so cool, like being able to, like, changing your cards into ways to break the game and all that stuff. I mean, guys, it's Triple Triad. Also, there's a couple cool places like the Central Ruins, the Deep Research Center, blah, 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 blah. Omega Weapon and all that stuff. But I mean, triple triad, guys. I mean, triple triad. So we're putting that right here for triple triad. I mean, it's that fun. It's a great card game. So yeah. And we will also be putting FF9 up in that tier, if I'm not being stupid. Actually, no, I'm going to put FF8 in A. I think that was a little too high. I think I was being a little too giddy about the triple triad. But Final Fantasy 9, I'm going to throw up where FF8 was. Because while Tetramaster is not as fun as triple triad, it's still a good game. It's not part of the, what's it called? Unfortunately, it's not part of the customization, which was the best part about triple triad, was that like it actually did something, for goodness sake. But Tetramaster's fun as a game. It's worth a playthrough. But the thing is FF9 actually has a bunch of other crap that you can do. And most of it let's see. What's a couple other things? There's some crazy, let's see. Oh, getting the different summons is fun. I mean, all that junk, like all the typical FF stuff. Super bosses, Ozma, Hades, all that junk. But what gets FF9 up in the S tier is all of that, plus Tetramaster, plus Chocobo, Hot and Cold. Chocobo Hot and Cold is really fun. I mean, I'm just going to say it. Like, it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun. It's kind of stupid how much fun Chocobo Hot and Cold is, but it is really fun. So, yeah. Let me recheck the list really quick and make sure I didn't make any dumb decisions, as I did with FF5. FF3, yep. So, FF3, 2D, Final Fantasy for the after years, FF4 Pixel Remaster. Yeah, that looks good. Wait, FF3, FF Dimensions. Yep. FF Dimensions 2, yep. FF4 for the 2D remade versions. Yep. FF5, yep. FF7, FF1, World Final Fantasy, FF8. Yeah, that looks right. I want to put FF8 in S, but it just really suffers without. I mean, Triple Triad is awesome, but when that's your one saving grace, but no, it's not quite on the same. It's not quite on the same tier as A2 either, though. It's really high A, but we've got some rough competition here, some tough competition here. Sorry, yeah. I hate to say it, but there's just really good side quests. I mean. Okay, I think I was being a little too giddy about Blitzball, though. Actually, I'm going to put that back. There's just too much crap in FF10. It has to be A+. It can't be. I mean, Blitzball, it's so good, though. Like, Blitzball and the fighting and all that. No, never mind. We're going back. I'm being goofy. Okay, never mind. It pisses me off, but you know what? Sometimes I need a little bit of off-pissing. So, you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, so I think we're good. I think we're good there. Yeah, okay. Final Fantasy X-2. Ooh, buddy boy. This is garbage. Okay. This game is one of my least favorite games of all time. Probably in my bottom 3 games. Because of the side quest. You know what? We're adding another huge gap. Biggest gap in the world. Biggest gap ever put in RPG ranked tier list. When I wrote my review, I wanted to give the game a negative 5,000 because of how much I hate the side quests in this game. Because you have to do all these stupid A side quests to get the true ending, and none of them are fun. It's like they fired every person that did FF6 side quest and then brought in like 4 IQ McDonald's workers living in their mom's basements that have literally never fended for themselves to make the side quest for this game. It is unbelievably garbage how bad these side quests are. I don't understand how any of these were greenlit to be in a game. Any of them. Actually, the Gunner's Gauntlet is gas. I love the Gunner's Gauntlet. But everything else is so bad. There's so many of them. Because they didn't have enough. There's nothing for story. So they had to load it up full of dumb side quests. And they were all garbage. And to get the game 100% completion, you had to do all of them. And if anybody says FF7 Rebirth has too many side quests, at least they're kind of fun. FF10 2, just... It was like somebody saw into the future and saw Brighton Nelson needs to hate a game with a burning passion. And then was like, oh, let's make Final Fantasy X 2. It's not my least favorite game of all time. At least it has some good things. Actually, it's my least favorite game of all time. It's not the worst. It's not the most. I mean, I'd say it's my least favorite game of all time. Like, I hate it the most. I don't think it's the worst game I've ever played. Like, out of all of the, like, you know, games I've played that are actually made by, like, major developers, I'd probably say Dragon Quest 1, I think, is the worst because it's super basic and it's still fun, though. Dragon Quest 1, sure, I gave every category like a 3 out of 10 because it's just such an old game that didn't really do that interesting. But at least it kind of revolutionized the genre, and it also was fun and catchy and cute. Final Fantasy X-2 was none of that garbage, and it also had the worst side quests in gaming. The only thing that would join Final Fantasy X-2 on this tier is Tales of Symphonia. Actually, no, it wouldn't. It would still be under the gap, but it would be a tier above because at least there's a couple fun quests. But oh my goodness, what were they thinking? I don't. Final Fantasy X-2 deserves no more discussion. It is so unbelievably trash with its side quests. Like, I honestly feel bad for the humans that are so unbelievably... Like, they have to... Where are they? Are they vegetables right now? They're... No, the people who made FF10-2 are all geniuses, but they were forced to make a sequel to a game that didn't need a sequel. That just doesn't make any sense. Okay, anyway, whatever. It's like the Joker Folia do of Final Fantasy games. Okay, Final Fantasy 2, though, goated as sin. I love myself some Triple Triad, but Final Fantasy 2 is going to go right here. Because the Arcane Labyrinth was such an inventive idea. Again, this is only in PSP/defunct mobile version. Still so mad they got rid of those because they're all better. The only game that needed a pixel remaster was FF3. All the other ones absolutely needed nothing of the sort. But whatever. Glad that it got more people liking Final Fantasy, early Final Fantasy, Switch nerds. But anyway, Final Fantasy 2, Arcane Labyrinth is such an unbelievably inventive idea with all the keywords and I think the Arcane Labyrinth is awesome. And since I love Final Fantasy 2's customization system and love leveling up and all that garbage, I had fun in the Arcane Labyrinth. I know there's so many battles, but it was really fun. But the Arcane Labyrinth alone is awesome. I would still probably have it in the A tier. Probably have it right here just for the Arcane Labyrinth alone, sorry. Just because it's such an inventive bonus dungeon. However, Solar Rebirth plus the Arcane Labyrinth is the most insane double whammy brilliant stuff ever. It's two things. The amount of side content there is in... But you know what? No. I don't like Chocobo Hot and Cold better than this. And I don't think I like Final Fantasy Tactics A2 enough as a game in general to say it's higher than... No. Final Fantasy 2 will be third on this list. Final Fantasy 8 still looks too low, but I just need to remember that... Oh, boy. You know what? I'm going to put this... This looks more right to me. as much as I love A2, and there's so many different side missions, I just like Triple Triad too much, and Chocobo Hot and Cold. But Final Fantasy II, the Soul of Rebirth adds so much to the story, in my opinion. I mean, it shouldn't be that much, because dialogue-wise, all that stuff, it really doesn't add that much. But it adds so much because of what the theme of Final Fantasy II is. So many people die in this game. And it just adds so much to the experience of Final Fantasy II. Not as much from a very stereotypical story standpoint. Like, oh, it didn't actually really add a bunch of dialogue, but it added so much to the experience. And then the Arcane Labyrinth adds a lot to the experience with this whole Doomian, you have to get pretty late into the Arcane Labyrinth to do it, but you get this whole side story about this broken dude, and you decide to forgive him or kill him. And that's also very interesting. I think that Final Fantasy II just has... It's brilliant, the side content, in my opinion. I mean, the Soul of Rebirth is so unbelievably awesome. Whoever was drafting the ideas for this knew Final Fantasy II. Whoever was like, we're adding bonus content into Final Fantasy II, they're probably trying to redeem themselves. Final Fantasy II wouldn't be one of my favorite games. I don't think it's one of the best games I've ever played, but it's definitely one of my favorite games of all time. And I will never say it's a... I rank games on a scale up to S+2. I will never say that FF2 is more than an A+, but it still is one of the games that means the most to me, and part of that is just how cool the ideas are in FF2, how different it is. And part of that is the Arcane Labyrinth and the Soul of Rebirth. They're just two awesome side quests that just are unbelievably awesome. And you know what? I'm going to move it here. I mean, it's not anywhere near FF6 level. That's so unbelievably hard to beat, hard to get up there. But I have nothing but immense praise for Final Fantasy II side quests. And they didn't need a lot of them to completely win me over. I mean, it's... The Arcane Labyrinth is huge, I will admit, and the Soul of Rebirth does take a while. 6 hours or whatever, because you have to grind a lot. But I like grinding in FF2, so whatever. But yeah, I just thought that the Soul of Rebirth and the Arcane Labyrinth will never cease to impress me. I think they're so cool. Bonus dungeons always try to do something cool and different, and this game delivered. I mean, as much as I love the ones in all the other games, this one just did... These just did so much more. They added to the story. They added to the experience. They just added to the vibes of Final Fantasy II. I can't even imagine Final Fantasy II without the Soul of Rebirth. The Arcane Labyrinth is a really cool dungeon, but it's not really... I probably would have an FF2 down here if it wasn't for the Arcane Labyrinth, but it would still be in the S just for Soul of Rebirth because of how much that adds to the game. I mean, side quests, the point of them is to make the game better. And it doesn't matter if there are not that many of them. If one side quest, aka the Soul of Rebirth, just completely changes how much I like Final Fantasy II. Because it just adds so much to that story. Because it's not a very complicated story. But the fact that the people who died, your main characters walk to hell to go kill this evil devil dude, and then your dead people go finish him off after he's dead. It's just so cool. Maybe I'm the only one. I might be the only one, but freaking Final Fantasy II is so awesome. And I will say that until I die. And part of it is because these side quests are so good. So there we go. Do I actually think they're better than the best of FF10? Probably not. But FF10 has its issues. FF9 has its issues. I mean, like Tetramaster needed to be better. FF8 has its issues because triple triad, and I mean, I don't know. FF8 or 9? think I'm moving things around a lot, but this is probably my most hard to do list I've done so far as a side quest, which is funny. Probably 8 above 9, because I'm thinking about it, and Triple Triad is more fun than Chocobo Hall. No, Tetramaster seems pointless in the game, but it's still very fun. No, that makes more sense. Okay. We run it back, run it back. Tactics A2 looks low. But also, I just don't like that game's gameplay as much as all these other ones. And that's kind of... To call every single one of those missions a side quest would mean that the game is like nothing. It's probably generous to call every single mission that you don't have to do for the story a side quest. It's kind of like World of Final Fantasy in that sense. So that's kind of weird. But also technically, it's like how shrines in Breath of the Wild are technically side quests. Like, are you even playing the game if you're not doing them? So that's part of my problem with Tactics A2. Putting in S tier just doesn't feel right. So I think this is right for my ranking though. FF6 is so unbeatable. FF2 I just love. FF10, 9 and 8 have their issues, but they're really good. I mean, everything else below has its issues. I mean, I don't know. I think this is perfect. So thank you all for watching this video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share the channel with anybody who's interested in RPGs, especially because I want help to make the best 2D RPG ever. I know that's probably an insane goal, but I'm an insane person. I don't sound as insane on on videos because I try to tone myself down a little bit, but I am a crazy person with crazy dreams. So let's get it. Let's do it. Let's make the best 2D classic RPG, but I need your help. I'll probably start running some ads once I'm a little richer. I'm trying to be a psychiatrist, so once I'm rich as a psychiatrist, money isn't the point for me. So you know what? Money isn't the point. I'll probably spend a ton of money just promoting the game, just because I want the junt. So I want y'all to be happy with an amazing game, and I just want to make an amazing game. I'll need some money because you know what? I need to eat, but same diff. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. Have a fantastic day. Share, like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and have a fantastic day. See y'all.